All right, good morning and welcome to Iyun with Benzion, Yevamos, Memhei. We're talking about this whole daf going back and forth about what's the halacha about Eved and Oved Kochavim, a non-Jew or a slave at Eved Knaini, Haba Bas Yisrael has relations with a Jewish woman, a fully Jewish woman, and they have a child. Is that child considered a mamzer? You can only marry mamzeres. Or is a child considered, obviously the child is Jewish because the mother is Jewish, but the question is the child considered a mamzer or not? The maskan of the Gemara is that the child is considered kosher. The child is considered kosher, that's the maskan of the Gemara, even to the point where the woman he's with is a married woman. She's a married woman, she's married to another Jewish man, and this Eved Od Chavim has relations with her and produces a child. That child, even though if the non-Jew was really a Jewish man, it would be adultery and it would create a mamzer. By a non-Jew, it doesn't create a mamzer. What's going on over here? What's the machlokas? Let's start off with machlokas. The fundamental machlokas is Rabbi Akiva and Rav Shimon HaTimni. We've discussed what makes a mamzer. Is it chayve krisus? If the union is forbidden with chayve krisus, does that make a mamzer? Rabbi Akiva learns no. That even chayve lavin or even chayve essay maybe could create a mamzer. What's the machlokas between them? What is it based on? So there's a couple ways of explaining it, but the Gemara does touch upon the idea of tvisas kedushin. Is there ability to have kedushin over here, right? The Gemara really, at one place, says that Rabbi Akiva holds by chayve lavin there's no tvisas kedushin, and Rav Shimon HaTimni holds only by chayve krisus no tvisas kedushin. Meaning, if you're asar alav, a grusha can marry a kohen, and the kedushin would take effect. According to Rabbi Akiva, it wouldn't take effect. That would be the source of it. That would be the source. And when you explain it like that it's all based on Tvisas Kedushin. The Mamzerus is dependent on whether it's Tvisas Kedushin or not. Right? If that's true, right, we know an Eved or an Oved Kochavim, Hababas Yisrael, there is no Tvisas Kedushin over there. So how do we reconcile that? Everyone holds, that's the Maskana of the Gemara, is that the child is not a Mamzer. If it's dependent on Tvisas Kedushin, if that's Mamzerus is totally Tvisas Kedushin, how do we reconcile that with the fact that Eved Od Chavim Babas Yisrael, the child is not a mamzer? If there's no tefillas kedushin, if you can't have kedushin over there. And second of all, another question over here is that it seems a little unfair that a mamzer is created because of, if the reason mamzer is the second idea behind the creation of a mamzer is because you did an avera that's so severe. According to Akiva, you did an avera that's so severe, you did a chayve lavin. It was a union that's chayve lavin. According to Rabbi Shimon HaTimni, you did an avera which is more severe, chayve kari. So therefore, as punishment for that, you're left with a mamzer as a child, right? It's so severe. And Rabbi Akiva holds it's so severe, even a union at a lav. And Rabbi Shimon HaTimni says it's only severe chayve krisos. We have another opinion. Rabbi Shua says only chayve mises based in. Only if you do a severe avera as a punishment for that, you get a mamzer. I mean, it's not really fair to the mamzer, right? The mamzer, he was born out of this union. He's the one affected the most. He can only marry mamzeres. He can't marry a regular Jewish woman. So what's going on over here? So I'd like to suggest over here that we're learning Maseches Kilayim, also Mishnah Yomi, if you're with me. So Maseches Kilayim talks about forbidden mixtures. So maybe we can understand mamzerus a little bit of that it's not so much that the severity of the avera is what causes the mamzerus. It's not because the parents did a sin, they did an avera, that causes the mamzerus. It's that the Torah calls it kilayim. It's almost like kilayim, like someone you're not allowed to marry. So it's a mixture of the seed, the sperm, and the egg of two people that are not supposed to be with each other, supposed to be next to each other, certainly not having relation with each other. So it's kilayim. Mamzerus is a form of kilayim, and therefore it produces a mamzer, not because of the avera of the parents who punish the child, it's because of the kilayim. So it can't be because it's tefillas kedushin, because it's tefillas kedushin. So then it would make sense that in an Eved Od Chavim, where there's no tefillas kedushin, the vlad should be mamzer according to everybody. We hold that's not the psak halacha, so it can't be because it's tefillas kedushin, and it can't be because of the severity of the avera, because mamzerus, it's not fair to punish the child. But if you learn, the whole idea of mamzerus is based on kilayim, it's based on a mixture of, let's say, grapes and wheat or something like that. So then that would create mamzerus. It's not a punishment, it's just the mitzias, that these things are a mixture and it's a different meaning, it's a different sug. A mamzer is a different breed than a regular Yisrael, it's a form of kilayim. In which case we can explain the reason that an Eved or a Baba Yisrael, the Vlad is kosher, because kilayim is only shayach by two viable fruits or two viable grains or two viable vegetables. But when a non-Jew, an Oved Chavim and an Eved, they're almost like kotzim, like the Gemara discusses, like the Mishnayos and Mesechus Kilayim discuss. Can you have kilayim with grapes and kotzim, thorns? Thorns, it depends. If it's edible to animals, only where it's edible to animals. If it's not food, if it's not edible, so a non-Jew also, he's not part of Klal Yisrael. In a sense, he's a person, but in a sense, he's almost like thorns. I'm not saying in a bad way. He's just a different breed. He's like nothing. It's like a zero. It's not like it's not a mixture. A mixture is when you have two viable fruits, two things that are legitimate fruits and vegetables. So you can't mix them together. That produces a forbidden mixture. But when he's not part of Klal Yisrael, so that's like almost like a zero. It's not a mixture of anything. It's just a viable thing, mixing with something that's a zero. So it doesn't create a mixture, and there'd be no isser, even if the woman was a married woman, because again, it's not based on the severity of the avera. It's not based on the tefillas and kedushin. It's based on the isser of kilayim. That'll be a new chiddush in mamzera. So I hope you enjoyed. We'll see you. I'm gonna do daf mem vav now. Hopefully, I don't have too much time, but hopefully we'll do mem vav, any of Benzion, and 4 mishnayos and 2 mishnayos. We're gonna do it. See you. Bye.